MEPs considered the nominations for this year's Sakharov Prize, awarded annually by the European Parliament to a person or group who stood up to oppression. Candidates include a lawyer who represented opposition activists in Iran and is now in jail, and the jailed Pussy Riot protesters against Vladimir Putin. The prize is worth winning, according to a previous laureate.
I don't think that the world would have become as aware of the Burmese situation as it did if it had not been for the Sakharov Prize and, of course, the Nobel Prize.
EU fisheries ministers meet as plans to reform the Common Fisheries Policy still fail to find agreement, especially on conserving certain stocks. They've been discussing a proposed €6.5 billion fund to help fishermen and their communities adjust to sustainable fishing, although there are fears it's taking too long.
Now, if we stray over into 2014, we have no legal basis for a new reformed Common Fisheries Policy or the European Maritime Fisheries Fund. And the whole thing, 3 years, 4 years' work, would be into the bin.
The other unresolved concern is how to reduce catches of juvenile fish rather than simply banning discards.
We must minimise the quantities of discards, and then we must incentivise the fishermen to avoid them. Because if we take all the discards ashore, then it solves the problem, but it leaves no fish in the water for the future.
There's been widespread condemnation of elections in Belarus, boycotted by some opposition parties and with leading opponents and journalists in jail.
I don't consider it as an election. Election means that there is a pluralistic democracy with the participation of political parties allowed to campaign freely and use and have access to the mass media. None of this is happening in Belarus.
The election has done nothing to improve the reputation of President Alexander Lukashenko.